Shalom and welcome to Souls on Fire. Viktor Frankl, author of Man's Search for Meaning and founder of Logotherapy, may have committed, I believe, what Napoleon Hill calls stopping 3 feet from the gold. The final 3 feet that Mr. Frankl, I believe, may have missed is found in the opening of this week's Torah portion. So stay tuned for Finding Tranquility. Viktor Frankl, an Austrian psychologist who survived the Nazis' camps of the Holocaust, founded Logotherapy, in which all humans' suffering becomes bearable and even curable as long as one finds meaning in life and in all of life's journeys. In his Man's Search for Meaning, Dr. Frankl shares eyewitness experiences of the labor camps in the Holocaust. He discusses how 3 days after one would lose meaning, one would lose his life. Yes, Viktor Frankl actually worked it out for 3 days. 3 days after one loses meaning in the Holocaust, the suffering caused him to lose his life. Please sit back and watch as Viktor Frankl shares his thought with you in his own words.
Dr. Frankl, what is meant by logotherapy?
Therapy means healing, and logos means meaning. Thus, logotherapy is really healing through meaning, although this, of course, is an oversimplification.
In which respect does it speak to a present need?
One gets this impression, for instance, is by the fact that my book, which has the title Man's Search for Meaning, has been printed in 300,000 copies, only the paperback edition. I wouldn't say that this constitutes an achievement or an accomplishment on my part, but in the first place, one should evaluate this in terms of a symptom on the part of the mass neurosis. In fact, today, the search for meaning is what has become frustrated, and people, our patients, complain that they cannot see any longer a meaning or purpose in their lives, and this feeling of meaninglessness, of emptiness, and of a vacuum, an inner void, is what induces them to come to psychiatry.
Is that what you call the existential vacuum?
That's right, and this constitutes a challenge to psychiatry today.
How can psychiatry cope with it, and can a psychiatrist give meaning?
By no means. The patient must find the meaning of his life himself. However, a psychiatrist may well make a patient aware of the fact that life, in principle, never ceases to hold a meaning for each and every person.
The opening words of this week's Torah portion are Vayeshev Yaakov, and Yaakov dwelt. Rashi, classic commentary of the 11th century, comments upon these words, and I quote, "And Jacob dwelt, when Jacob sought to dwell in tranquility, the trouble of Joseph sprang upon him, referring to Joseph being sold by his brothers. The righteous seek to dwell in tranquility. Said the Holy One, blessed be He. What is prepared for the righteous in the world to come is not sufficient for them, but they seek also to dwell in tranquility in this world. Simple meaning of Rashi, that Jacob's request for tranquility was denied. I remember clearly standing at a Farbrengen of the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said in passing these words, and most definitely that which Jacob requested was granted. The Rebbe is saying that Jacob was granted his request, tranquility. However, the story that follows, as Rashi comments, Joseph's being sold by his brothers, not to be seen by Jacob for 21 years, Jacob actually believed he was killed, doesn't seem to support what the Rebbe is saying. The Rebbe says Jacob was granted tranquility. The story seems to say the contrary. This week, I was invited to speak at Beis Chana, our local girls' high school. It was an awesome experience to watch as the mind and hearts of these brilliant girls grappled with the following thought. The core nucleus of every soul is, and I quote, truly a piece of God. God has no source. God has no purpose. God simply is. In other words, God needs not serve any meaning. God is meaning, and God simply is. This is something that Dr. Frankl correctly claims cannot exist within mankind. For mankind is the creation of a creator, and thus must fulfill the meaning for which it was created. It is unfathomable to mankind that mankind has no meaning. Mankind is meaning. Mankind simply is. No man can long endure such a meaningless life. Thus, in Logotherapy, Dr. Frankl finds existential philosophy as man's search for meaning. However, the very core of our soul, the truly a piece of God, searches not for meaning, struggles not with emotions, for it simply is. Most of us moan about the narcissism of teenagers. However, you would be proud to have seen how those girls awesomely fought that concept. They all shouted out again and again the same question to me. How? How could there be no higher purpose for which we must live? Yes, it is true. When we connect with the core of our soul, the truly a piece of God, the purpose of meaning is just to be. I'm going to say that again. The purpose of meaning is just to be. Our mere being, truly a piece of God, is meaning. It brings us and all who we touch the gift of life and tranquility. Jacob requested the gift of Yechida, the core of our soul, the truly peace of God, the peace of God within us which has no meaning, for it is meaning. When we touch this beautiful place within us, then all our struggles are blessed with tranquility, and our search for meaning itself becomes a search imbued with life, beauty, love, and tranquility. This then, I believe, is the 3 feet from gold which is lacking in logotherapy and in man's search for meaning. To embrace the simplicity of the core of our existence. To just look deeply into the mirror and glowingly know, I am a beautiful child of God. I am meaning. And now, let me fulfill purpose and meaning within all. My friends, dare to be a soul on fire, connecting to our higher self.